Welcome to the Use Your Inside Voice podcast. I'm Heather Dawn. Let's kick it off with a dance party. Well, hello and welcome to Use Your Inside Voice. I'm Heather Dawn, and I'm very, very excited about my guest today. We are going to have the pleasure of hearing from my friend and a certified conscious relationship coach, Dinuka Ranasinghe. And we've had some very stimulating conversation, which led me to invite her to be on this podcast. Aside from the fact that she's an incredible mother, she has two boys. She has owned in the past and ran daycare centers. She has this vast experience with working with people, working with parents, working with children. She's been a relationship coach now for how many years, Dinuka?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
And she has this incredible process that I'm going to let her get into. We're going to talk about it. And she offers workshops, webinars, and one-on-one coaching as well. And we're just going to dip into the beautiful brain of Dinuka and let her sprinkle some nuggets of excitement all over about this topic, because I know it really fires her up. So she's deeply influenced by Dr. Gabor Mate. And, you know, unless you've been living under a rock, you don't know who that is. He's a wonderful, holistic and spiritual coach on relationships. And so Dinuka has all of that she brings into her coaching as well. So hello, Dinuka. The first question that I would like to ask is, how do you use your inside voice?
Wow. That's a really good question. I wasn't ready for that, but
No warning.
yeah, no warning. I would say that my inside voice is well thought out. Meaning, when I have something to say or I am feeling something and I want to say it impulsively, which I used to be, I am now able to really hear that inside voice first. So the listening of the inside voice, I believe, is the first step.
Mm.
And then what comes of it when I really listen to that inside voice is the next step. But it's really, I guess, intentional.
Okay. Beautiful. So you use your inside voice intentionally. And
not all the time, but I try.
You know, it's always a work in progress, right? Wonderful. The inside voice is a near and dear topic. And I think it really connects well when we're dealing with relationships. And I would love to hear from you sort of what sparked this conscious relationship coaching. If you'd be willing to share your story a little bit of how you came to be a conscious relationship coach. And, you know, I know we'll be able to easily connect the dots between that inside voice when it comes to relationships.
Yeah. Wow. Yes, that's a really good way of connecting in a way, right? So I actually started off as a conscious parenting coach, believing that it was my children. They were the issue. I needed to make sure everything was perfect for them. And down the line, I realized, wow, number one, it wasn't them. It was me. Number two, my relationship and my marriage was affecting my children so much. So the and in the relationship, it was my reactions as well, and what I was bringing to the table as well, that was creating the issues. Creating meaning co-creating. I'm not going to take full responsibility. I take accountability for my part of it. But whether I stay, what I tolerate, um, what what am I bringing to the table unconsciously? What are my wounds that are unhealed that I'm bringing into this relationship
Right.
that affect everyone around me, and not just my marital relationship, but my relationship with my children, my relationship with my employees, with my team, with anybody in life,
Yes.
with my family even. So it was recognizing what was triggering me, what was causing the issues on my side. And then
Mm,
once those were uncovered and those voices I could hear, then I knew what action to take. And the action became so much clearer to me
mm,
when I really listened.
yes.
Because a lot of the hearing and the listening we do is really external.
Right. And it's also up here, right?
Right.
There's loops that we play in our heads when it comes to, scenarios,
Mm.
situations, things that we might be thinking. And really, isn't it sort of like a top-down process most of the time? Like we have a thought, and then we let that thought turn into a feeling, and then that feeling means something, and then we go round and round about like what to do about that. And it's the just round and round, round and round.
Yeah, you're so
Um,
right. That's such a good point about the head taking over, because we try to rationalize things and
right,
talk ourselves into things.
right. And what I heard you say earlier is that you really dropped in and you let your each one of those emotions that you were having, those wounds, you were able to sort of identify what wounds am I carrying in, what attachments do I have, and you were able to sort of separate those out and let them each have a voice so that they could be acknowledged in the process. Does that does that sound? Yeah.
Absolutely spot on. Yes.
Okay. And so when someone has a desire to do that, how do they do that? Like how do they flip out of the headspace, drop in and really take a look and start to, you know, separate what's actually, a real wound versus um, a learned sort of conjured up result of a thought that they had about a situation. Like how do they go from externally and like pointing fingers and it's them and it's this and it's my job and I'm stressed and drop back in and say, oh, this goes way deeper. Like how does one do that?
Um, it takes years.
It does. Well,
It
it does.
does.
It
I'm
can.
sorry to say that, because there is no immediate gratification, and we are so used to, as a culture, as a
Yeah.
society, to
Yes.
expect immediate gratification. We can't Google it. There's no
Right.
Googleism for correcting your relationship or healing in your relationship or healing a
Right.
wound,
Right.
because wounds will come up. I will say that I've been on this journey for about 8 years now.
Mm,
And I'm here now because of that 8 year journey. Um, and in each moment, it was beautiful in its moment. At
sure.
that present moment, it was where I needed to be. So there's no end. Do you know what I mean? There's
Right.
no destination, but
Right.
it's recognizing that in this moment, this is what I need, and this is what I can work on, and this is how I can do this. And so there are lots of tools that need to come into play, right? And
Mm.
so many about becoming present, about becoming connected. And Gabo Mate talks a lot about that connection and disconnection,
Right.
which is why I came up with the framework and the blueprint that I do have about conscious relationships.
Okay. I'm going to
Mhm.
stop you right there because
Yeah,
I would love for you to share with the listeners what you're talking about. I know that you have this amazing blueprint and this amazing method for someone to gain clarity on what to do next. And you call it, you call it the conscious relationship blueprint.
that's right. The
Blueprint.
blueprint. Yeah.
Got it.
Is that a
Um,
tongue twister? I didn't realize.
Blah, blah, blah. Um, let's tell us about it.
Okay, so the conscious relationship blueprint is the clear path and the clear steps that you can take. So it is so clear that I had to call it clear, right? It's an acronym.
Love it.
C being the connection that I was talking about. A
Hmm.
lot of the time we think the connection is an external connection. I'm connecting to you, Heather. Yes,
Hmm. Yes.
absolutely. But
Yeah.
if I don't connect to myself first to know what connection feels like, it's
Oh gosh.
impossible to feel connection with any other.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
The pause, time out.
Yep, got it.
That one kind of just gave me the goosebumps on the arms because that was powerful what you just said. Uh, say it again because what I heard was before I can have like a clear connection with somebody else, I have to first connect to myself so I know what real true connection feels like. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And you know what? I got chills because it resonates. I also have been on this incredible healing journey myself, and I know that that is true. What you just said, I felt it, being able to connect first with myself gives
Mhm.
me so much more depth to connect with other people and capacity, right?
Right.
So carry on. I just
So
wanted to highlight that.
yes, and I want to acknowledge what you're saying as well, that it's a feeling.
Mm,
It's not and a knowing at a
mhm.
cellular level,
Right.
right? So
It
we
doesn't just mean sending a friend a text, hey, just wanted to say hi. Like that's not the connection that we're talking about.
no,
We're talking about
absolutely.
a soul, like a connection to someone's like the insides, right?
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be someone. It can be something.
You're
It
right.
it can be the environment. You're so connected to the environment that you're in.
Right.
You know, when you can walk into a room and you
Right.
feel the energy,
Mm,
either it's a connected energy or it's a disconnected energy.
right.
Right? You can walk into that environment and you go, "Ugh," I freeze. Like
Mm,
my body
mhm.
contracts because I'm not connected in that environment.
It is absolutely incredible how much when one focuses on working on that skill or working on learning how to do that, how quickly the body will tell you. The
Yes.
body is this masterful barometer or thermometer, right?
Right.
It just we can feel so much.
Absolutely. Gabor Mate wrote the book When the Body Says No.
Mm,
And it is true if we can tap into it. So that takes time, right? We learn the skills and the tools. So that's what we will do in the C part of the clear program, right? Connect.
okay.
So understanding that, and under the C, then so many other C's come in, like communication, compassion, care for the self,
Mhm.
which brings up then the endorphins, the dopamine, the all of
Yes.
the things that we need. Again at a deeper level.
Hmm.
So first we connect. The L, when you mentioned it earlier, was the listening to our inner voice.
Mm,
Again, are we listening? Because when
yes.
we listen to our inner voices, then we can listen to the outer voice as well and to
Yes.
the other. And learning those skills of deeply listening with non attachment, right?
Mm,
With non attachment to the outcome of what someone is saying.
okay. We cannot just graze over this.
Okay, we need 6 months then, Heather.
I know. I hear this. Um, that is challenging.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Just speaking from the realness of being a human,
yeah.
not being attached to the outcome of what you're listening, like of what someone is saying to you, or
Mhm.
like, are you suggesting and inviting people to become neutral as a listener, or are you inviting them to become um, even maybe generous as a listener? In that I mean, neutrality is probably step one. If you're if you're a person who is tends to be reactive,
Hmm.
neutrality would be, I would think, would be the goal of,
Right.
okay, just get yourself to neutral so that whatever is being said as you are practicing listening is no longer activating to you.
There you go.
And then maybe the next step would be to be listening more with an open heart to hear maybe what they aren't saying, hear
Right.
the energy behind or the wounds behind.
Right. And I'm going to challenge you here because I want to ask you,
Hmm.
what does being neutral do? What is being neutral?
That's a good question. For me, I think being neutral, and it's a practice, okay?
Mhm.
It would be catching myself if
Mhm.
somebody is saying something and I feel like something comes up, like a little bit of a trigger, or I feel something that would be, ooh, that makes me a little bit mad. It would be the
Okay.
recognition.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there
Okay.
and ask you, with that recognition, what is happening for you to be triggered or to be needing to recognize that something is happening?
There's a
There's a
physical
physical,
response. Yes.
right? But what is happening in your thought for there to be a physical response?
Oh my gosh. Uh,
If it's not neutral,
if
if
it's
it's
not
not
neutral,
natural for
if I
you
if it's
to
not
have an,
natural for me to be neutral, yeah,
yeah,
is that what you're asking?
yeah,
I would say that this is, I, I'm taking one for the team right now, everyone.
yeah, you are. Sorry, put you on the spot.
That's okay. If it's not natural for me to be neutral, then I'm going to have like the same response that I've been having for years, potentially decades.
Right. Now,
Um,
what are you doing if you are not neutral? Like you said, you are reactionary, you're having a physical
right.
response. And why are you having that physical response? Because there's a thought, like you said, right?
I'm not safe. I'm
Right.
yeah,
And
they're
then,
they're insulting me or yeah.
right. So with that, you've created a story,
Mm,
which is a judgment.
mm.
So not being neutral means that it's judgmental.
Okay, yeah.
Being neutral is non-judgmental. There's
Yes.
no good and there's no bad.
It just is.
It just is. So
That's
that's
a
the
really
magic.
challenging position to take,
Yes,
but a
which is
powerful
why,
position to be in.
yes, which is why it takes time. It's
It
like going
does
to the
take time.
gym, you're trying to build muscle. I'm not going to build my biceps by looking at the dumbbell.
Right. Or thinking I can lift that 25 pound,
I've
dumbbell.
tried. I've tried and I tell you it doesn't work.
No,
I
you're
watch
absolutely
the
right.
yoga videos all the time and nothing seems to be happening to
It's
me.
your body isn't changing from watching those.
No, no, hasn't worked yet.
Um, I will say, uh, the becoming neutral has been a practice that it's been a conscious
Mm.
practice of mine over the last couple of years for sure. And let me just say this to the listeners. If you're in a position right now where maybe your relationships are challenging and things aren't going the way that you want them to, and it's frustrating and it's hurtful and you feel sad a lot and you feel angry a lot and all of those things, um the the work begins with yourself, okay? And as you're working on yourself, you're going to start practicing these skills. And I, from my own experiences, have had, it's almost like when you say, I'm going to work on myself and I'm going to, dig deep and start doing the work, all of the opportunities for you to prove that to be true pop up. Relationships start like going haywire. And sometimes these are relationships that you didn't see any real issues in. I have had best friends break up with me, And I have had trusted colleagues have, strong reactions to conversations. Um, it's just interesting. And so as you practice this, being in neutrality when that stuff happens is very, very hard. But as you realize, oh, I'm not neutral here. There's this really hurts. This feels like, X, Y, or Z. It's an opportunity to say, all right, there's still more work for me to do. There's still more work for me to do. And so that's what Dinuka does. This is what she does.
It's an opportunity,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
But I think I started to get to the 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 light at the end of the tunnel is that
Mm.
it starts to get so much easier and so much quicker. Early on when some of these relationship things would come up, it would spiral. There would be a spiral for me, and it would carry for a while, and I would just go round and round like a spiral. And now sometimes when things are coming at me, when you know someone that I'm in a relationship says something that's meant to hurt, it's almost like it just misses me because I'm not in a position to receive that judgment. I'm not in a position to make it mean anything. I'm just standing and letting whatever is being said come, and it doesn't land. And I feel like that feels like growth to me. And at the same time, there's always still more to go. So if you're listening and you're thinking this won't happen for me, it will. You got to put in the reps. You have to allow those opportunities to come. So we are on L. Um,
Sorry. That went
I
deep.
I
I wasn't
went I
expecting
went
it to.
yeah.
So L. And then we are on, well, L is also not just listening, but also letting go. So a
Mm,
sense of surrender to the letting go, right? Um, then the E is about the ego.
mm,
And when I say ego, I'm meaning it in an inner child ego,
mm.
not an arrogant ego way, right? Which I believe is more of a Western description, and I'm talking about more of the Eastern and
Right.
doing the
Okay.
inner work, right? So the ego expectations as well. What are our expectations in
Mm,
this? Because are they realistic or are they unrealistic?
mm,
Then we look at the A, which is the attachment. What do we attach to? Are we attached to outcomes?
right.
What can we accept? Another A. Are we
Mm.
in acceptance of the as is? Um, and attachment also goes into attachment styles because that is the basis of us.
We're gonna have another podcast episode with you just talking about attachment styles because I know
Right.
that's another thing that you're quite passionate about. And
Yes.
there's so much there. So
So much.
much.
It is the basis of our ego and our personalities and our
Yeah.
relationships because there's not just the one attachment style that gets attracted to the other attachment style. And
Right.
there are reasons for it. So anyway, that's the A. What are we on? R,
Yes.
responding as opposed to reacting. I mean, how many
Mm,
times I have reacted, like I said, impulsively because it's that reaction. I haven't sat and really felt and trained myself to respond as opposed to react. And when I respond, everything else, the trajectory of a discussion goes completely differently,
right.
right? And so that's that. And then you rewrite your story.
Mm,
You rewrite it, and there is light at the end of the tunnel, like you just
yeah.
said.
Yeah. It starts to feel possible, you know. Correct me if I'm off on this. I feel like most of your clientele are in a position where they're deciding in their marriages or their long-term relationships, do I stay or do I leave?
Mm.
And your process takes them through the steps to give them clarity, crystal clear clarity to know which decision it is, and the tools to have the conversations and um, to make it not feel so hard and painful even.
Yeah.
You know, your story about your marriage and how you came to a decision and then what the results of that decision are, I feel is a very inspiring story. And obviously this is what spawned your
Yeah.
conscious relationship coaching and this whole process. So would you share with the listeners what your just whatever you feel comfortable sharing, but essentially
Yeah.
from what point to what point and like where you are now and what it looks like now?
Right. So, okay, where do I start with this? It's like, okay, so like I mentioned, my relationship, well, where I am right now is in such joy and peace and complete love. Like, I understand unconditional love now,
Mm,
but it wasn't always like that. So
mm,
I am in both, on both spectrums. I've experienced the disharmony, and now I experience the harmony. But this was needed. The disharmony was needed for my growth to find that harmony.
mm,
So I needed the clarity to know that this was absolutely not the right relationship for me to be in. And to leave a relationship, there is so much grief that
mm,
comes into it.
mm.
You shatter every dream of yours. You shatter your vision of what family was going to look like. You're shattering your children's family unit. There's a lot of responsibility that goes into making a decision. And
Yes.
that's why I say you cannot make it lightly
Mm-mm.
just because, oh, I need some spark in my relationship. Oh, I'm missing the romance. There's a lot of work that needs to go into it before you decide that that is what you need to, that's the
Right.
path you want to take. And when you take it, you can take it with utmost certainty that there is not 1 ounce of regret ever.
Right.
You will grieve, no doubt. But when you grieve, you know you're grieving.
Right. Grief is so different than regret.
Exactly. Yes. And going through it is tough. So if
It
you're going to go through something that is tough, then do the toughness with clarity.
right.
Right. So then, so that was I knew, my gosh, I had so many wounds in this relationship that I was bringing into it, but I was also not leaving it because of these wounds,
Mm,
which were my beliefs, which were my patterns. So unraveling all of that by connecting to me, by listening to the inner voice, by understanding where the ego was showing up in this relationship, by
mhm,
not being attached to the outcome of what this relationship should look like,
mm.
by accepting what was the reality in this relationship, I was able to respond and rewrite my story. I just went through and walked through that whole clear step with you.
Yes.
Yeah. So in rewriting my story, I found true love. And I found my soul partner, not because I was attached to an outcome, not because I wanted to meet anybody. To be honest, I was done. I was like, I don't want to
Yes.
meet anyone. I'm changing sides. I'm like out. I'm even changing teams here. But no,
Yeah.
it fell on my lap. And this falling on my lap meant that we met and there was a knowing on a soul level for both, for me, definitely. And then what happened was miraculous almost, because I found this photo after we had started dating, And this photo was of me on a flight. He was a steward, and we had taken this random picture together from 33 years ago.
Wow. It's kind of a
And
cool story.
right. And it
You
was
were
like,
just a girl, right? You were there with your sister in the
I was
photo.
there with, yes, I was just there with my
You
sister.
guys snapped a picture with two of the
There were
flight
three
stewards.
other flight stewards, a stewardess and two stewards, and he was the one right behind me. And initially, when I looked at the photo, I was just flicking through this old album of mine that I just needed to put away. My son had left it on the
Yes.
counter where the connection happened between the two of us.
Mm,
And I was just flicking through it, and I went, is
yeah.
that him? Like, it's like a knowing that it was him, but it was it, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So that's how that happened. And I am learning so much in this new relationship. And so
Mhm.
that's where, having the courage to leave and the clarity to stay, I'm understanding what clarity to
Yes.
stay means, because I
Yes.
still have things that are coming up and wounds
Yes.
that I didn't experience, but in a different way now.
Mm,
So it's, a lot of my wounds were not understanding what the feminine energy looked like.
Oh,
Mm. And
yes.
being able to receive love
Hmm.
was alien to me. I
Yes.
didn't know how to receive it. And so this is in this relationship, he has brought me to this new place.
Mm,
And I can now understand what receiving unconditional love means and what it feels like. And one of Michael Brown's quotes I love is, "We're constantly trying to feel better, right? But we need to get better at feeling."
oh my gosh. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's from his book, The Presence Process, if you're interested. It
The
is,
Presence Process
yes,
by
by
uh,
Michael Brown.
Michael Brown. And say the quote again.
Our intent is to feel better, but we need to get better at feeling.
Yes. Feel your feelings, guys. Feel your feelings. And I focus on inner child work, and my right fit client is a midlife man or woman going through the healing process already, looking to go a little deeper. And so when you talked about, the listening is really listening to the inner child, I was like, oh, and feeling your feelings, that's where it is. That inner child, it holds all those feelings. And we as adults, somewhere along the line, learned it's not safe. It's not safe to express some of those feelings. And you know what? One of those feelings that is so underrated and definitely not an acceptable in our society, I believe, to exhibit, to show, and also people don't know how to react to it, is grief. Um, and that's an absolutely key component of this process that Dinuka takes you through. Um, you have to grieve. You have to grieve for um, what you're losing. If you make a choice to end a marriage, there's a grief there are many grieves. Um, the family unit that you thought it was going to be, the relationship that you had with your spouse, the relationship with their family, the relationship that you have with mutual friends. Like there are things, it could be that you have to grieve your home if the home isn't going to remain the home. If there's a scenario financially where the home has to be sold and it becomes no longer the family home, like there are so many, many things to grieve. And there's no workaround, right? You got to do it. You have to feel the feelings. And the only way to feel your feelings is to get better at feeling. I love that quote.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love it. I
right.
think it's really important. Your former spouse,
Yes, it was Dinuka.
I would love for you to talk a little bit about not necessarily what you're like, how you guys are, I mean, you have children, so you're
Yes.
obviously making it work that way, but I'd love for you to just touch on what is your relationship like with him now,
Mhm.
and like how has that, what's the arc of that since you made the decision to not stay married?
Right. So when we decided to separate, of course, we had been through marriage counseling and things like that, and just not getting anywhere. When we eventually made the decision, it was very amicable and mutual. We actually ended up going out for dinner that night,
Mm,
celebrating. And we were like, yes, we did it. And we did it maturely. This was great. We had never been at this point, right? And to get there was beautiful.
mm,
Um, because a lot of the resentment, past anger was resolved.
right.
And it only takes one because the reactions are not the same.
Mm,
And so, therefore, when you start responding, there's a different energy in the conversation.
yes.
And so we still live together, actually. So we live together logistically. It makes sense right now for our children who are 15 and 13. And to see
You
the
share the
joy
home. You have
we
separate
share.
rooms,
We have,
obviously,
yes, we have separate rooms.
but
Um,
you share the home and the boys have access to both of you.
yes, right now this is
Yes.
what's working for us right now. And things will change at some point, but we're still figuring those
Yes.
details out. And there's no fighting or animosity about who's getting what, who, any of that. We've used the same lawyer, and she's every meeting she's like, apart from one, to be honest, it was, wow, this was so easy. This was so easy. It was very expensive. So that's why I say make a choice that is completely
Yeah.
in line with you. But anyway, so our situation is that we do live together. We share the house. We cook together. We eat together. I have my partner. My partner and him get along really well. And so that again, both of them are amazing humans to be
Mm,
able to do this. So
mm,
I give them credit. That's not my doing. That's their doing.
yes.
And so they are mature adults to deal with it. I
Yes.
think, I mean, sometimes my ex jokes saying, I don't want her back, just keep her. So we joke about that. He's like, just keep feeding her, she'll stay with you.
That's hysterical.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's the situation.
But that it's just it's beautiful, and I think it's a great illustration of doing the work,
Mm,
you know. And it's just you that's been doing the work,
yeah.
right? Like
Yes.
he wasn't interested in doing the work.
Hmm. At that
And
time.
yet you did the work, and because of how you handled conversations and how you responded instead of reacting, and how you went into neutrality, and how you didn't put judgment on anything that he said, and how you were able to take the ego and you know, use your inner voice and all those things, it absolutely changed the trajectory of how all of these events unfolded. And so to
Absolutely.
give hope to a listener of, yes, but I need my spouse to do the work, you know?
Right. Right. Okay. And that's why I want to do this, to read this. And I already just mentioned him, the Presence Process, Michael Brown.
Yes. Okay.
Can I read something to you?
Please.
Which
Yes.
is in line with what you were just saying.
Yes.
As we reawaken, let us gently leave the bed, quietly tiptoe out of the darkened room and into the morning light.
Mm.
Let us play here. Let us not shake others in their beds. They are sleeping because they require rest. When they reawaken and hear us playing, they shall come and join us.
Oh my gosh. Really, really beautiful. Really beautiful. And you know what, that what the there's two verbs in there that I love. The
Mm.
playing part,
Mm.
because if we're not having fun and we're not enjoying ourselves in this life and we're not playing, and we can play, as adults, it's just a different, we're not digging in the sandbox and we're not climbing on the jungle gym, but we're doing other things that feel like play to us. We're being creative, we're being artistic, we're we're making things, we're creating programs, we're excelling at work, we're enjoying the things that we're passionate about. That to me is the play. And then
Mm.
the other verb that I love in there is, well, they're sleeping. But that everybody loves sleep. But
Right.
the awake when they awaken,
Uh-huh. When they reawaken and
they will
transform.
come and play, right? And in my process, you know, I'm going to work on coining and reframing this whole midlife process, because for decades, it's been referred to as a midlife crisis. And I cannot stand, and I do not abide by that definition. And so my reframe is to call it a midlife awakening. And it feels so much more enlightened. It feels like a process that would be lovely and could actually feel good and has possibility and hope and growth and goodness instead of crisis.
Yes.
So
I'd be curious to know how and who coined the term crisis, midlife crisis.
I would too. I bet
Yeah.
you
Yes.
it was probably very, very long time ago. And
And it was because a woman voiced an opinion.
maybe,
Probably.
probably.
So it was a
Um,
crisis.
yes. So midlife awakening, everyone. If
Yes.
you're in a process and you're in your midlife, it's your awakening. And so embrace it, like be gracious and kind to yourself, and seek out people like Dinuka, who can have a process that it will feel like a safe container and a nurturing way to go through a very difficult um challenge in your life. Like, relationship challenges are all consuming. And when you have somebody who is an expert and who has a container and who can pull in other people into that container, all of a sudden you don't feel alone. All of a sudden you feel the hope, and it becomes a much more joyous process. So, yeah. So, Danuka, if somebody, if a listener or, many listeners wanted to access what you have to offer, how do they do that?
I am on Facebook,
Okay.
Instagram, and LinkedIn as Dinuka Ranasinghe.
Okay.
And I can send you those links that you can.
And we'll put those links in the show notes.
Perfect. And then you can email me or DM me, however you would like to connect with me. We'll add all the links
Okay.
to connect with me. My website is not up to date. It is still the parenting evolution, as I started off in the journey and moved into conscious relationships. So
That is okay.
the
So
evolution.
what is the process? When someone reaches out to you, what happens next?
So I like to get on calls with
Hmm.
my potential clients
Okay.
um, to know exactly where they are. What is the struggle? And can I serve them? And are we a
Okay.
good fit? I don't believe in, trying to serve everybody. There could be personality disorders. There could be more traumatic things where further help is needed.
Right.
And so I need to make sure that whoever I'm working with is safe um,
Hmm.
with working with me. And then we go through the call and decide whether there is further work to be done. And I'll come up with a mini plan and we'll go through the clear steps. And then the program is a 6-month program called the Clear
Okay.
Steps of Conscious Parenting, or the Clear
Okay.
Path. not conscious parenting, to conscious relationships, and relationships in any area, whether it's parenting or relationships, right?
Right.
So, and then, yeah, and then that's how it works. And the whole point is that you have the tools and the techniques to use it like it's the back of your hand. You know,
Beautiful.
yeah,
Beautiful.
it's there for you.
Beautiful. So someone would get on a discovery call with you
Yes,
and you would ask them some questions. They would share a little bit about their situation, and then you would figure out if working with you was their next right step. And then they would get themselves into your conscious relationship 6-month program.
that's right.
Is that a rolling program? Do you run it twice a year, or could someone jump in at any time?
Yes,
How
it's
does
an
that work?
evergreen. So it's an evergreen program where you can jump in at any time because you will get the videos first, and then we do coaching. So one
Okay.
week is training, and at whatever point, it's not what is it? Sequential. Like
Okay.
when we're talking about listening, we're talking about listening. You can use it whenever in your relationship, right?
Yes,
Whatever
sure.
skill that you're learning. But there are videos that you can also go back to if you've missed some, and that's the most relevant. Where you are is, let's
Okay.
say, where you need to work.
Okay, beautiful. So you have modules, and someone can join that program, and if they're feeling very much like they want to watch the module first on responding versus reacting, they could start there if they want. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then you have like a weekly coaching call that a group coaching call that they can
Yes.
jump on every other
So
week.
every other week. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Because there's time to integrate. We need time to integrate, right? We intellectualize a lot, but we need to
Mhm,
embody the work.
mhm.
So that's what I'm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Beautiful.
Thank
These discovery calls, is that something that you're offering listeners as a 30-minute free discovery call, or do you have a
Actually, I will offer that to your listeners. I would love to offer that as a gift.
beautiful? Okay, that's lovely. Thank you. That's so nice. Everybody,
Yeah.
thank you. I looked at the microphone like Um, if you have the chance to have a conversation with Dinuka, I highly suggest it. She's, as you can probably already tell, very nurturing, very kind, and has this just a soulful way of of listening and of knowing, how to talk to somebody and make them feel seen and heard, and all of those lovely things that we all crave. So that's beautiful. Danuka, I'm so grateful to you for coming on my podcast and for sharing your inner voice, which is manifesting in such a wonderful service to the planet. Um, your
Thank you.
work is rippling out into families, and the end result of even a marriage that doesn't last is two people that are going to go out and be more successful in their next relationships because of the work that you're doing with them. So it's beautiful.
Thank you, Heather.
You're
I want to
welcome.
say thank you to you because our discussion, our very first discussion, was heartwarming. It was truthful. It was
Yeah.
authentic. And that connection was just there. It was
Yes.
beautiful. And so I want to thank you for that and the
Yes.
support you provided me.
Oh my goodness, you're so welcome. Lots of love.
Lots of love.
Okay, and everyone, this is your reminder to drop in, listen to that inner child, and use your inside voice. You matter, what you say matters, and everyone wants to hear what you have to say when it comes from that place. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Use Your Inside Voice podcast. I'm Heather Dawn. We'll see you next Friday and every Friday after that.